Ever since I came back to make videos since 2016, I've had nothing but a bunch of issues that I've ran into. I've done everything I've really thought possible that I could do with this channel to make it more professional, make it sound better, and, just for everybody's pleasure and enjoyment of watching the videos, because I've watched all my videos from back in the day, and even with as funny as they were, how I blew up, they were very boring, bland, which is why I decided to come up with all my backdrops and why I decided to dig this microphone out of my closet and purchase this $40 Tascam US 144 MK3, or my fault, MK2 MIDI interface, to where I could produce decent content that everybody would enjoy. And I'm not done yet. I've got a lot more that I have up my sleeve. I've got a lot more that I would like to do with this channel. And I'd really like to be able to sooner or later have boom stands and an equalizer for everything and room enough and actually maybe a bigger room for people to actually be able to come over and come in the studio, But I've been having upload issues for the past, I don't know, ever since training camp started. It's been at least 2 to 3 weeks to where the audio sync after putting these videos together to make it one video will all go out of whack. Now, I've messed with a lot of settings. I'm hoping that this video is not going to do it. But just in case, if you are wondering why I'm sitting in front of the microphone, it does actually sound better to me through the videos with me sitting up here in front of the microphone like this. And also, now you can't see my lips to where you can't tell if it's done desynced or not. So anyway, without further ado, this is my prediction of preseason Game 3, the Raiders versus the Packers in O.co Coliseum. I thought that I would do this preseason Game 3 a little bit differently than what I've done with the other games before and actually go over some stats with you guys. These are the stats. This is the Raiders here. Packers are over here. These are the stats in between the two first preseason games in between both teams. What you will see on the left is offense and on the right is defense for both teams. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and go over these, and then we can come up with a proper assessment on what actually might happen in the game this week, depending on, of course, who's playing. Now, total first downs, we've had 32 first downs, and we've given up 30. Now, we've had 14 of those first downs were rushing, 14 of them were passing, and 4 of them were by penalty. We've given up 8 rushing first downs, 14 passing first downs, and 8 by penalty. Now, if you come over here to Green Bay, they have 53 total first downs, and they've given up 38. They've ran for 12 first downs. They've given up 11 rushing first downs. They've thrown for 30 first downs. They've given up 21 passing first downs. And they've had 11 first downs by penalty, also giving up 6 by penalty as well. Their third down conversions are a lot better than ours. We are 4 for 20, and we have given up to other offenses 5 of 28. Their third down conversions are 15 of 31, and they've given up 7 for 23. 7 out of 23. Fourth down conversions, they're 1 for 2, and they've given up 2 of 4. We are goose eggs over here, and we've given up 2 for 2. We've given up 100% of the fourth down conversions that the Rams and the Lions have tried on us. Our total offensive yards is 597. Their total offensive yards is 836. That is a huge difference. Their offensive plays, they've got an 802, averaging 146 yards. See, I really don't know how to read this, so I'm not even going to go about even trying to tell you exactly how to read that whatsoever. I can just tell you right now, this major number right here, 597 yards, is our offensive number compared to their 836. The defense has given up 692. They've given up 692. We've given up 477 yards total in between the two teams that we've played. Their total rushing yards that they've given up so far in 2 weeks is 230 yards. So they're averaging 115 yards a game that they're giving up. We are averaging 160 yards. So we're averaging, well, no, we're not. It was 160 yards for 2 games. So that's 75, roughly about 75, 78 yards a game is what we're averaging. But we're producing 261 yards rushing a game for 2 weeks. So that makes it 130 yards a game, basically. 130 and a half. We've ran 51 rushing plays and averaging 5.1. That's for 2 weeks. Two teams have ran 55 rushing plays against us, and they've averaged 2.9. Now, if you come over here and look at them, they have not ran the ball very well at all. They've ran the ball 61 times, and they're averaging 2.7 yards a carry. So that actually looks like it's going to be in our favor, but they're not a running team, you know. They're not a running team at all. We'll go over here up into passing. All right, we got 33 completions. They've got 44. They've given up 38, and we've given up 38 as well. We're 33 of 57, basically. They're 44 of 79. They have 1 interception. We don't have a single interception, but we're only averaging 5.9 yards a pass. We've been sacked 6 times. I believe that's exactly how that's read. They've been sacked 4 times. They're 4 for 4 on field goals. We're also 4 for 4 on field goals. They've only given up 1 field goal. We've given up 5 out of 6. We've given up 3 touchdowns. They've given up 10. Or they've scored 10 and we've scored 3. Actually, that's how that's read. Yeah, we scored 3. They've scored 10. We've given up 2. They've given up 7. Wow, they gave up 7 touchdowns in 2 weeks. So I at least don't feel bad with what my prediction's going to be on this one, because I actually thought that I overshot it. But just looking at these stats, I mean, this is interesting. And, of course, this is from the official site of the Raiders and then the official site of the Green Bay Packers. Flip that out of there, right there. So, before we get into the game prediction, I want to go over a segment of what I would like to call what the critique expects to see. Now, of course, last time I did this segment, we saw a few things out of it, except for the simple fact that we didn't see the starters. So I would like to think that the first thing I would like to see would be play the starters. Now, this is week 3 of preseason, so we should expect to at least see the starters for the first quarter. Most teams play their starters for the first half or so during this time, since there's only 2 more games to go. So that is what I would like to see, is us play the starters. Now, what also I would like to see is interceptions from our defensive backs and linebackers. We got 1 last week from James Cowser, and I would like to see a lot more coming out of the safeties and the corners, especially people that we've dumped a bunch of money bringing in here, like Rashad Melvin, and guys who've already been on the team for a while, dudes like Carl Joseph and Reggie Nelson. Gary and Conley, it would be nice to see him step his game up as well, since we haven't seen much of him anyway. That shouldn't be too hard. Now, what else I would like to see is swarming defenders to the ball. Now, this basically just covers the interception part, because let's face it, we are going against Green Bay. They're going to air the ball out a lot on us. And in order for us to make them feel like that was a bad mistake, we need to have interceptions and we need to have swarming defenders to the ball. Normally, if we have swarming defenders to the ball, interceptions come. Expect a lot of passes on us this week. What else I would like to see is the offensive line protecting the quarterback, regardless on who's back there. Last week was absolutely terrible, trying to watch that game throughout the first half and just watching the line crumble within a half a second. Regardless on who's playing that line that day, please, let the critique see the offensive line protecting the quarterback. What else I would like to see is the backup and the starting quarterbacks playing well. I don't want to see any more of this Connor Cook going and trying to throw it forward and missing the ball and dropping it for a fumble. I want to see actual quarterback play from sound-minded individuals. Half the reason why I was blocked by Mark Davis is because I asked him right before I hit him up on Twitter right before we drafted Derek Carr, and I told him, please, whatever you do, in this draft, whatever you do, please draft a competent and smart quarterback. But that's a different story, you know. So here we are. We're at this section of the video. And this is my prediction. Now, with both teams racking up major yards through the air and on the ground, I expect this game to be a high-scoring affair, especially if the offensive starters and defensive starters play the first half of the game. 34-31 Raiders. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this time that I have had with you. And remember, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. I will be coming back with another video for a review post-game. Now, I just wanted to throw this in here because a lot of people are probably going to ask, or I'm probably going to get a lot of comments on this video if I don't say anything about it. But if you watch Mikey and Murph Mondays and you listen to Raider Fan Radio, you would probably know that I have called in to these shows, mostly Mikey, One Nation, on air. And I would go on there and I would partake in some of the conversations that they would have. And I actually called out Murph this week about Mark Davis. Now, before anybody asks any questions, I've sent an email to Murph. And Murph hasn't responded yet, but then again, it's only been one day. So hopefully we can get something together and maybe we can get it posted on either this channel or even on One Nation on Air. Or even better yet, I would actually like to go into where he's at. Take a look, see what he's got going on. Come and hang out for a little bit because I'm due for a vacation anyway. I really need to get out of Central Texas, and this is a perfect opportunity to do so, especially to be inside of that awesome fan cave he's got because I've seen, I watch Raider Fan Radio too on YouTube, and he's got a beautiful cave, that's for sure. But I just wanted to point that out before anybody started asking questions about it. Yes, I would like to have a debate about Mark Davis. Because for the simple fact, people have talked about how he was doing so well and how he's such this great owner. Well, I believe the complete polar opposite. I really don't believe that he's that great of an owner. And I was always a huge critic of Al Davis. Okay, there was a lot of things Al Davis did toward his middle and later years that really grinded my gears. But there's also some things that I would like to point out that when it comes to Mark Davis, that he's not as good as a businessman as everybody thinks he is. So anyway, I wanted to put this in here, and like I was saying before, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit that bell for notifications. I'm going to be giving previews and reviews of every game this year. and I'm going to be trying to make this channel better with every step of the way, and with all of your guys' help by coming and enjoying the videos, I'll get there faster than you know it. Anyway, this is the Raider Critique, man, and I'm signing out.